I wanted to share some latest up information from Cummins. It was posted on their website for investors and relations on December 22nd. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas and celebrated with family and friends. But anyhow, so I found this interesting that this was on Cummins' website, and they kind of talk about there's no evidence that anyone acted in bad faith, and they don't admit any wrongdoing. And it kind of talks about some of the EPA and CARB standards, but there's also some things I want to highlight here. Cummins conducted an extensive internal review and worked collaboratively for regulators for more than 4 years. So it sounds like this has been an issue for a while. Also, here you can see that in 2019 they updated some of the disclosures in the review, and they also talked about 2019 through 2020, sorry, 2013 through 2018 trucks. And then they also talked in another article about the 2019 to 2023 trucks. This is also something I want to share. So I follow some people tied to the CARB, EPA, and just experts in the industry around emissions, because this has been a big part of my career in the emissions industry. And I wanted to share this that was highlighted. It looks like there were several people looking into the NOx output into the 6.7 Cummins for quite a while, and it looks like they had been doing some analysis in real world emissions, and some of this stuff had there's some issues with some of the 2500, 3500 Ford and Chevrolet. They did some studies, and it was on elevated NOx, nitric oxide emissions, and they saw seasonal variation. If you're not into the market of emissions control on diesels, this is not uncommon. Believe it or not, diesels run very cold, and to meet emissions, you actually want to run them hotter. So if you run them hotter, you also produce more NOx, but you also produce more performance. In cold temperatures, it makes it really tough to meet emissions. And so they kind of talk about this here. They've been following this through 2010 all the way to 2015, and you can see that they were noticing some degradation to the SCR system, and it looked like they had improved some of the system, but they're still noticing some degradation. And then they also talk about the settlement with the 630,000 pickup trucks. But you can also see that they talk about an allegedly installed undisclosed auxiliary emission control device on 330,000 trucks from 2019 to 2023. So now I want to get into the data here and kind of show you what this is. So this is a curve based on model year 2010 to 2015, and it looks at the average of NOx emissions of grams per kilogram at different ambient temperatures from 25 Fahrenheit all the way up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And it looked at the big three of trucks that produce that are diesel. So you got Chevrolet / GMC, Dodge Ram, and Ford. And these are class 2 and class 3 trucks only. But as you look at this graph, and you can take your time, pause the video, and kind of look at this, you kind of see the curves between the manufacturers. And generally, you see the Ram is putting out the most amount of emissions compared to the other two. Also, look at the shape of the curve on the top chart, and you see that on the left side, I'm highlighting right here, you see how that goes up? That means as it's going up, that's producing more NOx. So as it gets colder, the NOx goes up, okay? This is important because this aligns with, I think, what some of us are seeing for emissions right now. Or I'm sorry, not emissions, but for fuel economy, because I can tell you right now, my 2019 Ram Cummins, my fuel economy has dropped like 20% easily. And I don't know if that's the blend of fuel or what, but it's interesting that if I look at the NOx requirement, it's gone up. And typically to beat that system, to make it meet emissions, comes at a sacrifice of fuel economy. So anyhow, I wanted to share this, and it also talks about some of the changes coming for 2027, and you see some CARB and EPA changes around low NOx. But anyhow, I hope this video is insightful, and as more updates come about, I will share with everyone. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.